All right. Oh, excuse me. Whew. All right. Since I have no idea how long it's going to take people to get in here, I'm gonna read my new post because I know nobody's actually going to take the time to actually read all of this. Already, I've gotten a like, and there's no way with it being posted 7 minutes ago, somebody's read all this. So, something was on my mind last night, and I kept thinking about it, and it was something that somebody had said, and this is more or less a response and a kind of an analysis in a post of how they were wrong in that statement. And I want everybody to realize and know I'm not hating on this person that made the statement. I don't even mention them because honestly, I don't even remember what their name was. But it was something that I felt like I really needed to dig deep into. And when I dug deep into it, it actually made me realize how wrong they actually were. And I wanted to point it out, not because of the fact that I wanted to prove them wrong, but because of the fact that it felt like it needed to be pointed out. So I'm going to read the post that I made so that hopefully nobody else has to. And it'll be your decision if you want to go and read it yourself. So here's the whole thing. This is something that has been on my mind since somebody mentioned it to me. It was a statement someone made that, in my opinion, was completely false. Nick and Judy are the only characters that have the chemistry to make another couple work. This is false. Here's why I think this. If we go back to Moana and Zootopia and look at their storylines, they are almost identical. This will be the shortest explanation I can give. A female whose parents don't want her to follow her dreams, but would rather her do what they want her to. She ignores them and does what she wants. She meets a guy who is heartless and self-centered and hides behind his jokes and antics. We follow them on a journey where we find out that the guy has a sad past. Nick was treated like a dangerous predator. Maui was thrown away by his own parents. The guys move on and become who they were. The two end up thinking they succeeded in completing the journey, only to have a setback. The two go their separate ways, only for the female to find a reason to return to the male and ask for his help again. The stories both end happily, as we all know. This is where I don't understand people when they say only Nick and Judy have chemistry, when I saw the same chemistry, and I put this chemistry in parentheses for a reason, with Maui and Moana. Or Moana and Maui is actually how I put it. We have to also remember the same director has worked on all 4 of these films, and if my guess is correct, he will most likely follow the same type of storyline as he did with Moana 2. I could be wrong, and this is an observation, but I felt I needed to point this out as it was on my mind. Mainly the reason I made this post was to prove a point. Any male and female couple duo has the possibility to become a couple, but that doesn't always mean it should. I'm not saying the wild hop ship won't happen, but I'm also not saying it will. If Jared Bush follows the same storyline as he did with Moana 2, you might not get the wild hop ship you're hoping for again. Or again, this is just an observation and not meant to hate on anyone's imagination. As a lot of you may know, I'm not a supporter of the wild hop ship for my own reasons, but I'm more willing than a lot of non-shippers to compromise, so I want to ask your opinion. If we get a great movie that doesn't involve the shipping of Nick and Judy until the very end, would you be okay with that? I think it's a great compromise because it paves the way for a definite third film, unlike Moana 2. And then I ended it there. And there's a reason behind me making that post, making that statement and all. And it was more or less, it wasn't, to target that person that had made that statement, but it was just something that when I got to thinking about it, it was like, dude, they are so wrong. Like, Moana 2 follows the exact same storyline. And honestly, it honestly does. I mean, look back at Zootopia, okay? And we'll go through both storylines right fast, all right? So in Zootopia, we start. Judy's a little girl. She announces basically in front of her whole town that she wants to go be a police officer. After the little show, her parents are basically talking to her and saying that she doesn't need to do this, that she needs to become a carrot farmer like them and settle. Well, we all know what happens to Judy after that. Years later, she's at the police academy, obviously ignoring what her parents wanted her to do and doing what she wanted to do, and she graduates. All right, we move forward. She goes and, she graduates, she gets moved to the biggest precinct in Zootopia, and she's having a lot of people pick on her and yada yada yada, right? Alright. She then accepts a case which almost gets her fired, but she cracks a deal with the chief and she gets 2 days to solve it. She remembers meeting Nick beforehand and finding out how much of a prick he really was, and come to find out he was a key witness and he could help her in ways that nobody else could have because he knew his way around. So the two of them, they hate each other when they first get started. But as the story goes along, you see their friendship slowly start to build. And then when they're on the escalator, we find out why Nick acts, excuse my French, so much like an asshole. Because of the fact that when he was a kid, he was treated as nothing but a dangerous predator, thus making him realize that nobody was ever going to see him as anything else. So he just started acting like people saw him. Apparently they saw him as an asshole. Anyway, but we see him help Judy what they think is solve the case. Alright? So they believe they solved the case. Judy has the interview, which causes Nick to lash out at her and leave. Alright? Judy works for like I'm assuming a few days or something, and she realizes that she's destroying his... No, excuse me, it was a week. Because if you remember, we'll just say it was a week. And then she quits and she goes home. And she's at home for however many weeks or days or whatever, right? All right, well, something clicks. She finds a reason to go find Nick because she wants to solve the case with Nick, even though, honestly, really, she didn't really need his help. It was more or less that she wanted his help. So she goes, she finds him, and they solve the case together. And then they become best friends, and the story ends happily ever after, may as well say, and it paves the way for a second film. All right? Then we go and we look at Moana. She's a little girl. She has the dream of the ocean. All right? Kind of like with Judy with the cop thing. Her parents are like, no, no, no. We're going to train you to be the chief of the tribe or whatever. And that's what her parents are trying to train her to do, until she realizes that if she wants her island to survive from this deadly thing that's killing all the islands, she has no choice but to disobey her parents and go do what she's wanted to do all along, which is go to sea. So she goes to sea after her grandmother dies, and she finds Maui, a self-centered asshole, excuse my French again, who thinks about nobody but himself and thinks that he's, like, in their film universe, the God's gift to the world, right? All right. We follow the story, and they're talking and all. And then we find out that Maui's own parents threw him away, only for the gods to take pity on him, basically, and give him the magic hook and make him be able to transfer into form into all these different animals. Okay, cool. You see the similarities here? I sure am. All right, Moana and Maui build a friendship, and it's a slow build up, but it's a slowly building friendship. And they find, I think it was Taka or whatever his name was. I haven't watched the film in forever. I just know the storyline enough to know that I can talk about it. And they think that they're right there to solving everything, and then something bad happens, and Maui's hook gets messed up or destroyed. It was destroyed, I believe. No, it was messed up. And he gets angry and he takes off and leaves Moana. Moana starts heading home feeling defeated. Her grandmother comes back as a spirit, thus giving her a reason to go and find Maui again. You see where I'm, not really needing Maui, she goes and finds him anyway because she wants to complete the journey with him. All right. So they go, they find out that Taka is actually the one they need to give the thing back to, yada, yada, yada. They end up having a happy ending, thus paving the way for their second film. And we've already gotten a second film with Moana 2, and we saw that even though they did have Moana and Maui, I don't care what anyone says, and I know with that post somebody's going to make the comment, but Moana's 16 and Maui's like in his 200s. Okay, well, why does that stop you? Why does it stop you in a film but not stop you in real life with all these young girls marrying these guys that are like in their 90s? So just shut up about that, okay? Stop using that as an excuse is what I'm going to tell you. And Moana and Maui have the same potential, in my opinion, to become a couple as Nick and Judy did, or does, whatever. But we saw that they didn't make Moana and Maui a couple, right? So I'm not saying that Jared's not going to switch it up on us and make Nick and Judy a couple, but I'm just not going to, I'm more or less telling the shippers to not get their hopes up, because there's always a possibility that he's going to go, no, I'm going to do the same thing I did with Moana 2, and I'm just going to keep them as friends. But again, there's always hope, so we'll see. But more or less, I wanted to kind of talk about it while I was here, so that if you didn't really want to read the post and everything, you could kind of understand where I'm coming from. The storylines are very identical, like very, very identical. And I found that interesting that that person didn't see that when I did. And I don't even like Moana or Moana 2 that much. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Moana was good, but Moana 2 was kind of like the bad guys. Like, if I had to give Moana a rating, I'd probably give it a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Moana 2 was definitely like 5 out of 10 or 4 out of 10. Just wasn't very entertaining. Felt predictable. I'm hoping that Jared will change that a little bit with this one, but, we'll see. But anyway, let's get to playing War Thunder instead of ranting about my opinion on something that nobody agrees with. But oh well, I don't give a shit. It's what opinion's about, actually using your own mind instead of following the crowd, right? So I don't care. That's one of the things I've never understood about people. They're like, I have an opinion. Not when you're following the whole crowd, you don't. If you have an opinion, all right, you won't completely agree with people. All right, here's the thing, all right? Everybody that's a Wild Hop shipper has the same opinion, the same reasoning, and everything. Every non-shipper that I've run into, we disagree on things and we agree on things. All right, I know there's a lot of shippers out there that don't want to see Nick and Judy be a couple at all, me included. but a lot of them are not willing to compromise with just having two good films where at the end of the second one, Nick and Judy do become a couple if that's how Disney wants to go with it. Hello, how are you? Sorry. But anyway, I'm not really too worried about it because it's like this, you know, Disney's going to find a way to fuck it up either way. That's how they always do, especially nowadays. So, we'll figure it out once we get there. All I know is I'm probably going to help with the filming of a third film by going and paying to get into the theater. Originally I was just going to wait until it came on Disney Plus, but I got to thinking about it, and it took months for Moana 2 to hit Disney Plus, so I was like, I've waited 9 years, I don't think I can wait months, so, you know, I'm just going to go watch it in the theaters and pay however much I have to watch it. Freaking $300 later, this wasn't worth it! But yeah. I just get a bad feeling that, like, I'm gonna go into the freaking, and this is not hating on furries or anything, but, like, I get a bad feeling that I'm gonna walk into the theater and feel so out of place because everybody's gonna be in their freaking fursuits and crap. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna realize how bad my state is. Because we all know most of the shippers for... Hey! It's not very nice. We know most of the shippers have got to be furries because those are the only ones that want to see two completely different animals become a couple, let's be honest. I won't be the one that says that Nick and Judy don't have chemistry, because they do, but for me it's not couple chemistry, it's friendship chemistry that can never be destroyed. That to me is the kind of chemistry that Nick and Judy have, but whatever, we're not going to go into that. Kind of with Moana and Maui too, honestly. You know, that's the kind of chemistry I saw them having, was like the unbreakable friendship chemistry. But everyone else just sees the... And another quote from the first film that people are using as an excuse, and this is like every freaking shipper, again, this is exactly why I say none of them are thinking on their own. They are all thinking on the same brainwave, kind of like the Democrats, honestly. Like, they're all using the "you know you love me" quote, and it's like, really? You fired too soon. And I didn't hit anything, so I'm in danger. Oh, well, nice. I got backstabbed. And, you know, I don't want people to think that I'm just completely against the whole Nick and Judy thing just because of the fact that, you know, they're two completely different species, okay? Here's the thing, alright? I've looked into the Bible a lot since I started stating it way back when, and somebody kind of mentioned that it wasn't in the Bible, and I was like, really? Hold on, let me kind of dig into this. And I did do some digging. It's not anywhere in the Bible does it say that interracial relationships is a sin. I thought it was, but apparently that's just a thinking that my mom has that she tried very desperately to drill into my head. Again, you know, once I found out it was false, I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, to all of his own, you know? And the more I got thinking about it, I was like, you know, I kind of see where people are going with it, but like, they're using the excuse, again, another one of those things that's like everybody's saying the same thing, that Nick and Judy becoming a couple could have a symbol that interracial relationships isn't a bad thing. And it's like, dude, how many years now has like interracial relationships been a thing, you know? And what? That's BS. So it's like one of those things where, you know, again, you know, I'm not following the same thing everyone else is. I completely refuse to. But it's like, you know, that's the excuse that they're using, and it's like, dude, it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of the same thing with me, Chris, you know, and that's how I feel about it, you know. They're trying to use that as an excuse to make Nick and Judy a couple, talking about, well, you know, people hate on interracial relationships. More or less, when I see an interracial relationship, and it's mostly with the white girls that do it, there's a beautiful white girl that I'm sure would have had no problem finding a decent white guy, and she decided to settle, and I say settle for a reason, because, you know, no offense to anybody who's, you know, of a different race or anything, but most black guys don't tend to really give a crap, and that tends to be what ruins them a lot of times. But, and again, you know, that's not all black guys, I know that. But, like, the majority of them, you know, just act like the victim a lot of times, and they try to play it tough, but they're not tough at all. Come here, you little midget. Oh, I forgot you were on that side. No. No. Bad fox. No. Communication. I'm raising my barrel to him. Friend! Friend! I have to fix myself and then I'll drive away, I promise. Friend! I now have friend. I'm gonna drive away now. Goodbye, friend. If you shoot me, I'll shoot you back. Friend. I made friend. Friendship. Ow! My friendship didn't last long. I don't know where he's at! I can't see anything! He's trying to save me! I have friend, I'm giving him head pats. There we go. Friend. Friend. Made friend.
Air, 250, height, 500 meters.
I made friend, I'm happy now. I've been shot again. I'm getting very angry because I don't know where the flip it's at. Oh wait, I think I see it. No, maybe? I don't know. I'm a fire. Go away! Wait, what the? Oh, there it's at. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about. You know, most of these like really decent white girls are getting with these black guys, and it's like, you know, not gonna lie, if you wasn't with this black guy, you know, I'd give you a chance or whatever. And it's like, you know, you're settling for something. And, you know, I'm not saying that all, you know, all white girls are just settling. It's just that they have a preference, and for some strange reason they decide that that's the type that they want. I don't know why. But, you know, it's the same thing with a white girl getting with like a Mexican or something, you know, a preference sometimes. Or sometimes it's just, I can't find anyone else. I love you. And, you know, then they get married, and then it's a completely miserable relationship. And I say this because that's how my mother's first relationship was. Sir, you're on fire. Sir, you're on fire. I wonder if Mr. Fox will let me live again. Oh, Mr. Fox is over there. He drove fast, too. Dear Lord. All I hear is one of those things just going off. Hey, I see the fox! I want to go make friends with the fox again. Hey, hey. No! I didn't shoot at you, you little prick. I think I understand why, though, because he didn't know if I was going to shoot him or not. But, you know, and I actually ran into one, you know, since we're talking about like the whole interracial thing. I ran into a couple last night. I didn't really run into them, but I saw them in Walmart. And again, it was a very decent looking white girl with a black guy. And they had 3 children. You know? No, they killed my friend. How dare they? Murderers. You know, and, you know, I'm not going to hate on them because of the fact that they decided to, you know, have children and interracial stuff. And, you know, they were minding their own business. But then, like, I understand to a point where also people are coming from, because there's also that point that people have been trying to make where they're saying that it would be a really good way to prove or make the point about, why do I feel like I'm in danger? Never mind. I'm probably gonna die over here, but oh well. I was right, I got shot. That was rude. He's right there. Where did he shoot me that it didn't? Oh wow, I got lucky. Just bonk. I imagine the freaking driver, though, has a concussion after that one, though. But they're making the point that Nick and Judy getting together would be a great way to show that racism shouldn't be a thing and all. And it's like, why do you feel like them becoming a couple shows that? Can we not just have a story? I mean, look at the story already from what we know, okay? Apparently snakes, Nick is prejudiced against snakes, okay? He's showing racism. Where Judy showed racism, now he's showing it, right? Okay? And apparently snakes have been, or reptiles just in general, or the water world is what I'm going to call it, have been exiled from the utopia that's going on, right? So it's like, the whole story, again, is focusing on racism as a whole. And to me, you don't need to hook Nick and Judy up in order for that to work. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. You don't need to hook those two characters up in order for that to work. And then a lot of people are talking about how oh, those are bombs. Ow. Me again. Me again. Me again. But I don't see why people are using, I'll put it this way, I don't see why people are using the excuses that they are using to justify Nick and Judy becoming a couple. Like the whole, Nick and Judy are the only ones that have the chemistry that'll work out. That's false, okay? The proving that racism is bad thing, okay? They did that without having to hook the two characters up in the first one. So, again, that's not going to help you in an explanation either. There's like several one, and then the quote at the end of the movie. Okay, friends tell each other they love each other all the time. It's weird, especially when it's like guy on guy stuff. Like me and my friends. All right, we're big Christian people, and Christian people tell each other that we love each other all the time in a Christian way. So me and my friends, we tell each other. Well, more or less, they tell me they love me a lot, and I tell them that I love them back. Again, it's that whole. It has a different meaning, and they're using that quote, okay? Friends tell each other they love each other all the time. My mom even says that her and her friend tell each other they love each other all the time. Every reason that they are giving as to why they think Nick and Judy have to be a couple can quite literally be torn down with reasoning. But they don't like it when you do that because it ruins their thing. And see, I will be the first one to say, I don't like it when people try so hard and the shippers are doing it. All right, I don't like it when the shippers tear me down trying to give every reason they can as to why Nick and Judy have to be a couple. Just as much as I hate it when they as much as they hate it when I try, or other shippers mainly, try to disprove everything that they say. And then somebody made the comment about the platonic friendship or whatever. Okay, I looked up the word, and I can do it again. Hold on. I'm going to read what the word platonic means, because this is what kind of... this is what kind of blew me off. For of love or friendship, intimate and affectionate, but not sexual. And here's an example. Their relationship is purely platonic. Okay? And here's the thing, alright? I watched Zootopia. I've watched the trailer and everything. And arguably, I kind of feel like in the second one, their relationship is more platonic, just off of what I've seen, than in the first one. In the first one, I kind of got that, like, friends who just became friends, so they're going to pick on each other as much as they possibly can. But in the second one, I get the feeling we're going to see a very platonic friendship / coupleship forming. Oh, you got the cool one. No fair. I have eyes. Do you have eyes? But again, you know, I'm to a point that as long as it's not the whole storyline is, oh, Nick and Judy are a couple, I don't care what they do in the second film. And, you know, and the funny thing was, it aggravates me because the whole reason that Jared decided to make Nick and Judy an undercover couple was it was supposed to be for it was supposed to be a compromise for the shippers. It was supposed to be his compromise that he was giving to the shippers where they could pretend for a little bit that Nick and Judy were a legit couple. And that's a tank. That's not dead. Okay, cool. Oh, I wanted to shoot him. And you know, that was what that whole plan for that was. And it's like they could not stand it. It wasn't enough. They have to make Nick and Judy a couple. And it's like, you know, you're very demanding. I love how they're just launching rockets at each other. I'm just gonna sit here and spectate. This is entertaining. It's like, here, you have a rocket. No, you have a rocket. Why are you? No. Ow! You meanie. Wait, oh, this is the one that doesn't have smoke grenades. You know, this is the only Magok that I've run into that didn't have some sort of smoke grenade. Holy Jesus. Please reload. Okay, hold on. The comments aren't coming through. Like, for me, alright, so for me, it's one thing to make up what? It's one thing to make a prediction on what's going to happen in a film, but I think the one thing that really pissed me off the other day was I saw a video where somebody said that Nick and Judy have to be a couple in the second film, and I'm like, and then they were using the like this statement, and this is what really got me, Chris. They said that Zootopia 2 was a romance film in disguise. I'm not even joking, and I'm just sitting here like, just like the utmost like disappointment is just all over my face as I hear them say this, and I'm just like, you know, where is your evidence? And they use the thing like, it's a classic storyline. The female hates the male. Have you not watched movies where the male hates the female and they still don't get together? You know? It's nothing but, like I said, people trying way too hard to make what they want come true. And it's pathetic, honestly. Like, you don't see me over here making a completely new story. I mean, I've thought about it, not gonna lie. I've thought about making, like, once the second film comes out, if I could draw and stuff, I'd want to make an alternate ending and make, like, a full-on thing afterwards. Of, like, you know, kind of like what would happen if Judy said no to Nick or whatever, if that's what ends up happening, which I don't even know yet. And from what I kind of got when I was just kind of doing, you know, my whole guessing on what could happen and all that crap, you know, it was actually going really good until I tried to bring myself into it, and then I just kind of lost track of what I was actually trying to do, and it kind of failed miserably. But that's why you don't give me the ability to make a story. But I'm not going to tell that because it wasn't really finished unless somebody wants to hear it. But, like, it's like, you know, I'm not over here trying to make excuses as to why Nick and Judy don't need to be. I'm just using straight facts as to how I don't see where you're getting all this information as to they have to be or that they are going to be. Like, you know, every excuse that I've heard from every shipper can be easily disproven with little to no effort. Without even, like, really breaking a sweat, you can easily disprove everything that they say with no effort, literally. Excuse me, sir. Hi, I'm here to collect your taxes. That was mean. I took his taxes and his life. I'm a violent tax collector. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of leave now. There's an AMX-10. I don't know what that is. I think that's like that tank destroyer thingy. I don't know, though. All I know is I don't want to deal with it. Goodbye. Run for the hills. Oh, there's a leopard over here. I feel like I'm slightly in danger. Leopards are not friendly at all. Hi. Ow, my engine. You didn't take the right thing, though. Why did that not kill you? No. Stay away. No. Stay. Why is it everything else breaks, but I shoot a fountain, it just stands there? The flip, man. Oh, after you. Dude, I'm in an 8-0. I was gonna let you go even if I didn't want to. But, like, I watched that video where they were saying that Nick and Judy have to be a couple in the second film or whatever, and I'm like, you know, and then I look at, like, perfect example, like, I look at the Bad Guys film, okay? And people are talking about, like, it was highly hinted at, and I watched it, and I was like, you know, now that I look at it, yeah, you're right, they really were hinting at these two becoming a couple. Especially, like, the dance that they ended up doing at the gala or whatever. Like, dude, it screamed, you know, she just, like, likes him and he likes her. But like then I watched like Zootopia and I'm like, nope, I don't see it. You know, I don't see them looking at each other in that way. You don't see it because it's not there. See, the whole point I felt like with Zootopia was it was more or less a way for them to kind of gauge what they were going to do if they decided to make a second film. That was what Zootopia was about, gauging what the audience would want, right? And most of the audience wants to see a ship. Not all of them. Alright, y'all know for the past 2 days I've had a post out there asking people, you know, if they think Nick and Judy should remain friends or should be a couple. I think like the last time I checked, 70-something% of people are saying no, they should be a couple, and there's like 20-something% or something like that saying yes, they should remain friends. And it's like, you know, it's not a very big thing. It's not a very big difference or whatever, but you know, it's noticeable. Oh, bomb. I feel like that was personal. Quite literally all I got, by the way. Okay, 170. Oh, there he is. I can't shoot at him, but I see him. But yeah, like it boggles my mind, like how the non-shippers, and I even dared to make a comment. Of course, I ended up removing it because I realized how mean it would have been, and I try not to be mean to people. But I made the comment that the shippers are acting exactly like the LGBTQ when it comes to like their opinion and everything, like and they really honestly are. Like, if you disagree with anything they say, like, you're immediately like all these kind of different things just because of the fact you don't agree with what they want. Like, I've been called annoying, not even joking, because of the fact that, I said that I didn't want Nick and Judy to be a couple. I've been called aggravating. I've been called all kind of names, alright? All because of the fact I have a different opinion. And then you look at the LGBTQ, what do they do when you disagree with what they want? Or what they are, whatever. They start calling you a buttload of names. The word fascist pops up in my mind when you know, when they start running their mouths. And it's like, you know, I love the fact that they are so bold to call you such things just because of the fact that you disagree with them. And it's like, you know, the shippers are acting exactly like this. Hello, how are you? I mean, you know, when we go and look at like Charlie Kirk when he was speaking up against like, and you know, spreading the word and talking about MAGA and everything, what was the one word that they constantly called him all the time? Fascist. And I even remember him being called a Nazi at one point, which was very entertaining, by the way. I've got called a Nazi, so at least I can say I was on the same page with that. It gives me a little chuckle, you know? It's just funny. It's funny as hell, honestly. Okay, it wasn't our friendly, so we're gonna die either way. It made me laugh a little bit, you know? Now, I'm not gonna say that the shippers are gonna go as far as to... I'm not gonna say the shippers are gonna go as far as to murdering me because of the fact I have a different opinion, which is probably the only difference they have to the... from the LGBTQ, but, you know, still... They act exactly like them when it comes to calling people names and stuff. Yay! I did something. Not really, but anyway. I'm gonna die anyway, so it doesn't matter. Bomb me! Drop it on me! I wanna feel the pain! That was not the pain I was looking for! It's not fair, that wasn't the pain I was looking for! I don't know why I'm bringing that out, I'm just gonna go watch. Oh, here he comes, there it is. There it is! I see it, it's magical! And yes, I'm still playing with viewers. It just depends on what I want to do, honestly. It was so pretty. It was so gosh darn pretty. It was so pretty. So pretty. It's so pretty, I just don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I feel like Chris is shaking his head in disappointment right now. Chris is over here like, man, this guy's just so disappointing. I think I'm gonna probably play like one more match, maybe this match, and then I'm gonna jump off and I'm gonna go play the new game I said I was gonna mess with. A game that I think Chris might like. I gotta find a mod though. Oh, I'm not reaching that stuff. There ain't no way. I'm at 5,000 feet. They're at least at probably 11, 13, 12, 12, 11 or 12,000 feet, most likely. Oh, wow, he bombed an anti-aircraft gun. Aren't you proud of yourself? Seems a little lackluster, honestly. Just, nope. But hey, it gets him points. So, I mean, all to his own, I guess. He helped my Yak 3 friend. I'm gonna call this the boom and zoom. Yeah, go away, Corsair. Nobody likes you. Actually, I love the Corsair, but we don't like him in this situation. You chose to... Oh, he chose to burn up. That's what he chose to do. Come here, stop running. Come here. No, stop. No, bad. Bad. He's gone. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why I love the FW. You get some shots on him, and he's gone. Alright, well, we're not going to worry about the P-51. I think I'm going to go for this thing. A lot easier to piece apart than I thought he would be, honestly. The only FW that I've actually hated is the one that had like nothing but like, I think it was like dual 20s. I hated trying to use that thing. It was a pain trying to use it. Oh, he got his wing took off. I'm gonna wait and see if he hits the ground or not. Yep, okay, cool. Wanted to make sure before I go flying off, and then he turns around and freaking murders me. Speed Star Crash 2. Is that like a game or something? Sounds like it would be an awesome game, not gonna lie. You know what makes me a little sad, though, is the fact that, like, the ME-410, one of the weirdest looking aircraft, hello, how are you? It is, like, it feels like it would be, like, a really good variant, and it almost felt like, and it flied almost like the, P-38, and I loved using the thing. I think it was a really good plane and all. But the one thing I'm being shot at. No. How did I survive? Oh, that's a Corsair. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. I'm in danger. They've come to collect my taxes. I'm being chased down by a Corsair. You answer that question. If I can get a Corsair to like speed past me, that'd be great. Alright, baby. Up, 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 up. Oh, come on, really? Thank you. I'm gonna run now. I was badly wounded. BF-109, BF-109. I love how those are the two things that are still alive. Meanwhile, everyone else is dead. You wouldn't shoot a fellow BF-109 down, would ya? Dies. I'm doing fine, by the way. I know you asked, so I'll answer. I'm doing okay. Why? No, stay away from me. No, just because you're a BF-109 does not give you the right to murder me. No, 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 no. You can't do that. It's not allowed. Where'd the other one go? Oh no, I'm in danger. There's 3 of them. Why is there 3 of them? Why is there 3 of them? I don't like this. I just want to phone home. E.T. phone home, man. Just let E.T. phone home. Oh, well, he's dead. I watched that happen. That was epic. I got him! I got him! Oh, shit. I don't got him! I'm not a Nazi. I am a German of the Luftwaffe. Does not mean I'm a Nazi. I am und German pilot. Unser Luftwaffe. Da. Wait, hold on. Da is not. Da is Russian. Yeah. Russian spy in our midst. Not really. The SS were the ones that liked murdering people. If I remember correctly, the SS were also the ones that were personally training the children to go and be killers. Okay, then. That was interesting. My tail flopped off. Oh, what happened here? That was like the dumbest death I've ever seen. Not gonna lie. Anyway, I was going to make that my last match, and then I was going to get off for a little bit, and then when I get back on, I'll be playing something on my laptop that's a brand new game, so y'all stay tuned for that. I hope everybody has a lovely day, and remember, you mess with the wolf, you get the fangs. Y'all have a good one.